As we are approaching the month of Shavat, and Tu B'Shvat, the new year for the tree, which can also be on the first of Shavat, it's the new year for the tree, the Ilan. It doesn't say for trees, it's new year for the tree. And that tree is the tree of life, and that's what you see in front of you. Man is the tree of life. This is a depiction of you, of man or woman. And the whole idea is to activate the center pillar. That's what the entire process is of and development of Jewish mysticism and life in general, is to activate the center pillar. That's not only in Judaism and the tree of life, the Etz HaChaim, but in all other religions too, like yoga, or if you see the Christ on the cross, or if you see Buddha in his sitting position. The whole idea is to activate the center pillar, to bring the two. Well, first you have to, get to know the right and the left sides, and balance them to open up the center. That center is considered the third hand. But the new year for the tree is the tree of life, the Zadok. And I'm going to show you just a couple of things here in the center pillar. Notice on this tree, I don't have a da'as here, and I'm going to show you how it's opened actually. The tree is divided into three upper, which is Keter, Hokmah, and Bina, and the seven lower. These are the two numbers, the two esoteric numbers, the 3 and the 7. The 3 is actually the circular number of pi. Pi is 3. I know they have it as 3.1417, but it's actually in the Talmud, pi is 3. And then 7 is the lower from Hesed through Malchus here. It's a 6 and a 1. And you see how everything filters from the Yesod, which is the 6th, into the Malchus, which is the 1. That's the 6th into the 7th. And that's the law of 7. There's two laws. There's the circular law of 3 and the linear law of 7, and that's how we have linear weeks of 7 days, of 6 days plus a Shabbos. But let me just do a couple of things here with the center pillar. And what I've done here is I've taken just the Kedusha letters, which is the first letter of each name here. So in Keter, the Kedusha letter is the Kaf. In Tiferet, which is in the middle there, it's the Tov. In Yesod, it's the Yud, and in Malchus, it's the Mem. So if I add these together, these four letters together, I get 20 for Kaf, 400 for Tov, 10 for Yud, and 40 for Mem. So it's 20, 420, 430, 470. 470 is Ayin Tov, which happen to be the Dinam letters of the word Da'as. It also means time. At means time. Ayin Tov means time. But it's the dinim letters of Da'as, which, when you do the full Kedusha letters of the center pillar, give you that. Now, if I add, which is permitted in these kind of gematria things, the four letters, four positions here of the center pillar, Keter, Tiferet, Yesod, Malchus, if I add one for each word, I get four, and I leave that as the Kedusha, and then I have Da'as itself. So the center pillar, which does not contain Da'as, and the tree of life, which does not contain Da'as, is formed from the center pillar itself. I have another amazing gematria from the center pillar, and that gematria is the Kedusha letters in full. So I'm only dealing in Kedusha letters now. The Kedusha letters in full is Kaf is 100, Kaf Pei. You should learn the alphabet, by the way, and the correspondences into numbers. So Kaf is either 20 on its own, or in full it's Kaf Pei, that's where you spell Kaf, that becomes 100. Then, that's 100, then Tav is 406, Tav Vav, so that becomes 506. And then Yud is 20, that's 526. And then Mem is 80. These are fully spelt out now. See? The letters Kaf, Tav, Yud, and now Mem fully spelt out is 80. With the 526 is 606. Now 606 is the numerology, the gematria of the word Atzmutz. Atzmutz means the essence. It's the Atzmutz level of Ein Sof. It's the sixth level. It's beyond the Ein Sof level. There's an Atzmutz level within Ein Sof. That's 606. 606 is an amazing gematria because that's the gematria of root. Now, root is the convert. That's why true converts, are really accepted into Judaism. Because who would choose to be a Jew? If somebody comes and becomes a convert into Judaism and accepts, Jewish God and be an object of anti-Semitism, who would choose to be a Jew unless they were really a Jew? So a convert is a beautiful thing, and from the seed of Ruth, root in the Bible. And that's the 606. Ruth, Resh, Vav, Tav is 606, which is the same as Atzmutz. So Ruth comes from the Atzmutz level. Now another thing about the word Atzmutz can be divided into two words. Atz, which is eitz, ayin zadok, that's eitz, like eitz ahayim, but the word Atzmutz is Atz Mavet, tree of death. So there's even higher than the tree of life, and that's the center pillar, and that's the tree of death. Now what does that mean, the tree of death? That's actually what Freud was talking about with the death instinct. There are two instincts. There's the life instinct and the death instinct. There's Eros and Thanatos. The death instinct is higher than the life instinct because one wants to go back to homeostasis, some sort of equilibrium. Within the tree of life is the tree of death, and that's the center pillar, When one gets involved in that and in touch with it, then all of a sudden Da'as opens up. You see? But in the Jewish formula for the center pillar, there's only 4 locations here. Then Da'as, as I showed you in the Gematria before, opens up when these open up. And then when the essence opens up, both appear as the tree of life and the tree of death. The will to lose one's ego. Only when one dies to oneself can one find Eitz Hayim. These two things run parallel, life and death. So this is all shown here. And that Da'as, which is the sexual component, because it's Adam Da'as, his wife, Hava, Eve. And so this entire center pillar, which is no different than the Kundalini, how the Kundalini runs up and down the center pillar. And when one really understands its center pillar, then Keter Malkus. Then Malkus comes and crowns Keter. The feminine comes and crowns the male. Keter Malkus. It's a very deep issue. Again, another form of Ouroboros, a snake biting its own tail. So when this center pillar opens up, then the seed, the sperm, runs up and down this ladder. And the sperm, the seed, and that's the word zerah. And zerah has a gematria of Zion, 67, Resh, 567, and iron. It's a 5. So it's excuse me. We use the ratio as 510. So it's Zion, Resh 510. That's 577 plus iron 130. Comes out to be 707. 707 is the gematria of HaShabbat. The secret of HaShabbat is the sperm running up the center pillar. And that's the day of the union with the woman. Another beautiful thing about the number 707 is that it's 606, which I just said is Atzmutz, which is found in the full gematria of the 4 letters of Keter, of Kaf, Tov, Yud, Mem, plus either Adam Kadmon, Aleph Kuf, Aleph Kuf, the noteric tone of Adam Kadmon, or the angel Michael is 101. The angel Michael adds to the Atzmutz and carries this Atzmutz up as seed, zerah, as sperm, as sap, and that's when the sap runs in the trees on Tu Bishvat. And this is the tree of life. So when you're looking at the tree of life here, that's the Elan. Elan has a simple gematria of 91, which is Amen. Can't get much better than that. So that's how da'as can be formed, because da'as is obviously sexual knowledge. Sexual knowledge is that Sephirot that doesn't appear as a Sephirot. In certain senses, Malkus comes up and takes the position of da'as. There's a lot to be done in this tree, and as you see, I haven't put in all the paths, because theoretically there are 10 Sephirots and 22 paths. The 22 paths are the Hebrew letters, the alphabet, and the 10 are the obvious 10 Sephirot, the 10 commandments, the 10 words of Bereshis. And the 32 paths of wisdom. 32 is also the gematria of Lev, heart. And the 33rd spot is Da'as. And 33 is a very powerful gematria, which is shown Lag Bomer, which is the 33. Lag is the 33rd day of the Omer. And that 33rd day of the Omer appears at Hod on the left there. And it's the number 15 that was in my brother's dream. These are openings to other dimensions through Hod. But in the meantime, how to activate the center pillar. Right now we're talking about the ultimate Kundalini experience. Opening up the chakras of the center. There are many different enumerations of the chakras. Some have 7, some have 6, some have 5. Here we have 4, plus a opening of a 5th of the da'as. But with these normative 4, we keep the division of 3 upper and 7 lower, which is a division enough. And to open up these areas, this is easily done in the month of Shavat, from the 1st of Shavat, and the 15th of Shavat especially, for other reasons I'll give. So I celebrate the 15th of Shavat, but the whole month of Shavat, the month that's coming, the number 311, which I will be discussing as the month of Shavat and the tree approaches. This is the tree. The tree of life is the tree they talk about in the Mishnah for the new year of the tree.